On today's video, we'll be working on an AC condensing unit. Now, the issue we're having is it is not working, and you have to get more information when you talk to the homeowner, the tenant, the resident. Not working could be a multitude of issues. Right now, I know that the inside blower motor is running. The thermostat is set to auto cool, but unfortunately it's not blowing cold air. So right now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the panel from this condensing unit, and I want to see if the contactor is engaged. You're going to have 4 screws. You have 2 on the top, and these 2 you don't have to remove, you just have to loosen them. The ones that you have to remove are the ones that are on the bottom on each side. Once you remove that, the panel should slide right out. Now this is going to be your contactor right here. You can see it's already engaged, so I do know that the thermostat is sending the signal for the contactor to turn on. So right now we want to figure out why our compressor and our fan motor isn't operating. Now if the contactor is engaged and your fan motor and your compressor are not running, there's a multitude of reasons that could be. It could be a trip breaker, it could be your capacitor, but right now when I put my hand to the fan motor, it's extremely hot, which tells me that at some point this was running and for some reason it overheated. Now what happens oftentimes is if the fan motor stops working, the compressor continues to run, and what happens is the compressor overheats and shuts off as well. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to remove this panel. Be careful, like I said, this is extremely hot to the touch. We're going to open this up and then we're going to touch the compressor to see if it's overheated or not. Before going any further, make sure that you pull the disconnect. Now we're going to remove the 4 screws that secure the face of the fan motor to the condensing unit. Once you remove the screws, we're going to push the fan motor and just kind of move it out the way. Again, just be careful because you're going to have wires here. Right now I can feel the heat coming off of this compressor, which tells me that this has overheated. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some water. I'm going to pour water onto the compressor, onto the fan motor, see if I can cool them both down, and then we'll start the system back up and see if we can get it running. Right now I just took my hose, just left it over the compressor. It's nice and cool now. I poured it onto the fan motor as well, and now we're going to basically just dry fit everything and try to see if we can get the system to start running. Make sure when you're dry fitting everything that there's no play in the wires. You don't want the blade to catch the wire and cut it. So just basically go to where the panel is and just basically pull the wires. Make sure that the line is nice and tight, and then take like something where you can turn the fan blade and make sure it doesn't catch the wires. Screwdriver, slide it in the slot and then just push it to make sure that you don't catch any wires. So right now we're going to put our disconnect back in and we're going to listen to see if the compressor and the fan motor turn on. Issue is going to be the fan motor. Now just to ensure that, what I like to do is I'll put the disconnect back in and I'll see if I can manually push that blade. Sometimes what happens is if you give it a nice push, the fan motor will turn on. It just needs that extra push. At this point we have to replace it, but I just want to do it for demonstration purposes. The reason it's making that loud grinding noise is because the bearings inside the motor have gone bad. At this point we're going to replace the fan motor. I'm not going to do it on this video. I do have a video posted on my channel showing you how to replace the fan motor from beginning to end, step by step. So go ahead and find that link, and then once I replace it, we'll go ahead and test it to make sure that it's running with the new fan motor. This is the old fan motor, and if you inspect it, you'll see there's a lot of grease, a lot of oil, and this is usually an indication that the fan motor is bad as well. So here we put the new fan motor in, The contactor is engaged, and now we're going to put our disconnect in. If this video was a help, if it was informational, please subscribe.